There was a meme I saw on X, General Flynn, and it had you in a glass box and President Trump with a hammer, like in case of emergency, break glass and get General Flynn back into the administration. You're obviously a hero of our movement. You've seen the dangers of government from the inside. Would you go back to government service if President Trump asked you?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely would. I mean,
Look, Bill Maher thought he could ambush Kevin McCarthy with his tired talking points and pin Trump's economy to the wall. But even this rhino milquetoast so-called conservative Kevin McCarthy brought a sledgehammer to Maher's glass house, and the lefty crowd was choking on their kombucha. Want to see how a real conservative shut down Hollywood's favorite smug atheist? Buckle up, patriots. This is America first at its finest. And I don't know what happened to Kevin McCarthy, but suddenly he got a spine and some damn testicles.
You know, presidents do big things in the first 100 days. Obama did Obamacare. Biden had the infrastructure thing, because you get a brief honeymoon.
Yeah.
So this is the honeymoon. What is the rest of this marriage going to look like?
Yeah.
Because I just want to read some of the stats. I read some of them in the monologues. 7% is the S&P 500 is down. Economy has shrunk for the first time in 3 years. Value of the dollar is down 10%. Consumer confidence down. Trucking volume starting to tank.
Oh, it's all doom and gloom. The world's about to end. It's so bad that Bill Maher has to have a laugh track in his audience because people don't laugh at this idiot. He went to the White House. He had some dinner with Trump. You would have thought that he would have got a little bit of common sense. Bill Maher's whole job is to convince his crazed lunatic audience that they're not that crazy. And he's not doing a good job of it because we've seen how good the economy is right now. We've seen how much inflation has dropped, egg prices, gas, everything is getting better. You got a little more scratch in your wallet to go buy, I don't know, something for your Second Amendment.
Jamie Dimon says the best case scenario is a recession. UPS is cutting 20,000 jobs because they expect less packages to be delivered. Even McDonald's is down 3.6%. Goldman Sachs says we will experience the lowest economic growth and the highest inflation of any big boy country in 2025, even empty seats at Beyonce's concert.
Wow.
Well, that's because she's a liberal rag, a liberal hag. She was paid by Kamala Harris. The American people realize that the Hollywood elite only support politicians for money. They put on a show. That's what they're good at. They put on shows.
I guess what I'm asking is, Kevin, so everybody knows something except Trump, or is it the other way around? We're all wrong and he's got it right?
We're not all wrong, but this is the point. A couple things you didn't mention. This is a stock market up for the first time 9 straight days. That's only happened 8 times in the last 25 years.
Wow.
Up from where it was way down.
But you haven't been every single day for 9 straight days. That's only happened 31 times in 97 years.
And why did that?
31 times in 97 years, the stock market is up 9 straight days. Jim Cramer, time to change your adult diaper because you said it was going to be a recession. Cramer, we all know how bad you are. Whatever you say buy, we sell. Whatever you say sell, we buy.
What happened? I'm asking.
Well, I think we've gotten over that. We know the tariffs are a negotiation. It's not going to stay this way.
Correct.
I think people are seeing the investment coming back. You look at the jobs numbers today, it surpassed the second time. And if you read into the job numbers,
yeah, jobs
9,000 jobs were cut in government, but the private sector has grown. So he's doing a disruption, but you're seeing kind of a little light at the end of the tunnel. Now, if they get in the next 60 days, a couple trade agreements.
The trade agreements are coming. America is the world's consumer. Look around when you're driving around, the people begging for cash. America is the only country in the world where homeless people are obese, where poor people are obese. Is part of it because of the diet? Well, RFK's looking to fix that by cutting food stamps or cutting what you can buy with food stamps, soda, sugar, candy bars, all this fast food. So we're fixing everything on both ends. But McCarthy, now I think McCarthy could be jockeying for a position back in Trump's cabinet. And I hope and pray to Pope Trump that that doesn't happen. If you want to see what I'm talking about, check out the video that I made earlier with Trump trolling the left as a pope. I love it. Trump suddenly turned liberals into Catholics. He made them religious. Let's get back to this. I got another clip here for you from this same interview with Bill Maher. Okay. Now, this one is where Bill Maher is cornered. He is pinned. He knows the Democrat Party is finished because the Democrat Party only has a couple of options, and those options are really bad. Okay. And one of them's AOC, and the other one is Bernie.
They gamed the system. They changed.
Who do you see on the horizon for 2028 in the Democratic primary?
Right now?
Yeah.
Bernie and AOC.
No.
They got the biggest crowds.
That doesn't matter.
It won't sustain itself, but right now they have no leader. Okay? But this is the thing the Republican Party has to understand too. Both parties lost in the last election. Trump won, okay? And I don't know if that's going to transfer. We should have won 4 more seats in the Senate. If you look at the...
He is so right for once. Both parties lost. Trump won. There are many of you watching that don't consider yourself a Republican because of how much they suck, how much they fail. Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, Jim Jordan, James Comer, Mike Johnson. The laundry list goes on. There are so many Americans that are pissed off at the Republican Party. Trump won. The Democrat Party lost, obviously, and the Republican Party lost because nobody has faith in these pieces of crap.
The last 70 races for the Senate, 69 follow exactly the way.
I think it's Moore versus Youngkin. That's where I see it.
Youngkin would be excellent.
Youngkin
it's going to go back to
MAGA adjacent, and then Vance and Jr. will fight it out for that crowd.
Okay, so this is Kara Swisher. She's an absolute lunatic. She says Wes Moore, Glenn Youngkin. Wes Moore, Maryland governor, very liberal, has some skeletons in his closet, a little bit of military stuff. They've already cleaned that up. He has been endowed by his Democrat oatmeal gods that he could be picked. But Bernie AOC scares the shit out of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party knows that neither one of them really toe the line with what's happening. But I would love to see an AOC debate with Donald Trump Jr. Could you imagine a Donald Trump Jr. JD Vance ticket? Trump 2028 could very well come true. Could you imagine a JD Vance Bernie Sanders debate? That would be elder abuse. Let's finish this.
AOC and Bernie, and who's at the top of the ticket?
They're going to lead right now.
Who's at the top of that ticket, Kevin? Because if it's not Bernie, he's going to be vice president and then wait his turn?
No, it would be. Bernie's been running each time. I'm just saying who's in the lead right now. I don't think that's how it ends up.
But big crowds don't necessarily mean who's the right candidate. You know, when I started...
No, but it drives where the ideas are going to go. It's going to drive the money for a while.
It doesn't make them the winner.
It doesn't make them the winner. You'll have to wait till you'll get 2 years out. And then you'll start seeing these governors that start showing solutions. You also have to know, what is the issue going to be? Are we going to have a foreign policy issue? Are we going to have an economic issue?
Which governor do you think is going to be the next candidate? Whitmer? She's been kissing the ring with Trump. Kathy Hochul up in New York. Tony Evers up in Wisconsin. We're going to talk about him. Tom Homan's about to lock his ass up.
And who's been the best in leading in that? But right now for the Democrats, who's going to lead for the next 2 years, the money is going to... AOC outraised everybody in the House.
And it's all small donors.
It's all small donors.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where Trump was when no one gave him a chance at 17. He outraised everybody else. So that's where the base is at, right? And so what will happen, it'll move after the next midterm elections.
That's when we're going to see real movement. Love or hate McCarthy. He's part of the machine. He is part of the Rhino machine. And here's the deal. Bill Maher was left disappointed because he is the know-it-all for the Democrat Party. He's the voice of reason in a environment of chaos. They're all hyenas. But Maher spewed his usual gloom and doom, talking about stats about the S&P, Beyonce concerts are half empty. I'm sure, what's her name? I forget the dancing chick that was banging the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs. Trump's to blame for everything short of Maher's bad haircut. McCarthy wasn't there to play nice. I don't know what happened to McCarthy, but he came out with a little bit of common sense. But why should you care? Well, because the left is desperate. They're desperate to rewrite history. They are desperate to kill prosperity. We're clawing back strong borders, booming jobs, a country that puts America's heart first, not global crybabies. Okay. This is what I love. Bill Maher probably had to go back and have some booger sugar and some devil's lettuce to recoup and recover from this. It only gets better because there is another guy that's coming out that we all want to see back.
There was a meme I saw on X, General Flynn, and it had you in a glass box and President Trump with a hammer, like in case of emergency, break glass and get General Flynn back into the administration. You're obviously a hero of our movement. You've seen the dangers of government from the inside. Would you go back to government service if President Trump asked you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Mike Flynn just said on live TV he would come back. What do you think about this?
Really would. I mean, he and I had met and talked, and, not recently, but certainly since he took office. And, I mean, it's one of these places where it's got to be the right fit with the right conditions. And I think right now we're in a state of play where there's so much complexity, and I have had my share of it, and I know how things operate. And so if he was to give me a call, I certainly would take the call and see what he has to say.
There you go. Mike Flynn. Can you imagine Mike Flynn back in Trump's cabinet? Can you imagine Mike Flynn back in Trump's cabinet with a vendetta, with a bone to pick, with a little bit of salty revenge? I would love to see it. The left is freaking out. They are losing. They have no actual campaign. They have no actual ground to stand on right now. They don't have morals. Those are gone. They don't have any actual real foundation to their party. They have no leader. When AOC and Bernie are calling people oligarchs and they're flying around on private jets, they're finished. When Bill Maher brings on Kevin McCarthy and Kevin McCarthy ratios him and silences his whole audience, they're finished. And when you've got General Mike Flynn saying he would come back and work in Trump's cabinet, all I gotta say is hell yes. I love the possibility of General Mike Flynn coming back. Thanks for tuning in. We are back, baby. The first 100 days went by in a blur. And now the Democrat Party better get a helmet and a drool tray because they're going to need it. We're coming. We're going to finish out this first year. We're going to make monumental changes to America. Make America great again and healthy again. And the Democrats are on the ropes, waiting for the knockout punch. Donald Trump, please break the glass in case of emergency and get Mike Flynn back in office. Thank you. Take care. Veteran Bikers out.